Welcome back, Morris Brandon family, teachers and staff. It is already the month of March. I cannot believe that. And this month, we are very lucky to have a very special guest. We have Atlanta Board of Education Seat 8 at-large District Representative, Ms. Cynthia Briscoe Brown. And we are also here at the Atlanta Castle 2020 Cross Districts Learning Event, and this is hosted by Atlanta Public Schools, and we are happy to be engaging with conversation from SEL leaders across the country today. We are happy to be here with Ms. Briscoe Brown and of course Mr. Hudson and myself. So this month we're reading an awesome book, which most of you all have probably already read, Malala's Magic Pencil, by a very famous young author and philanthropist and really a Nobel Peace Prize winner, which we learn at the end, Malala Yousafzai. And this was a great book because we learned a lot about her upbringing and some of the struggles that she encountered as she grew up in the country of Pakistan in the early 2000s. What did you think about the book, Mr. Hudson, and the message that it gave?
I think that this book, and shout out to the SEL department for always selecting great books. And this is an excellent book because March is also Women's History Month. And this is a young lady that fought for the right of young girls in her country. Many of those rights that we just think are just something that comes naturally is not. They had to fight for those rights and fight for the rights for young girls to go to school.
Yeah. Ms. Briscoe Brown, you read the book the other day to a group of students in Atlanta Public Schools. What was their reaction, and what do you think the message of the book entails?
The group that I read to was a group of second graders, and they were very interested in the fact that she is so young, but she has such a powerful impact on the world.
Yeah.
We talked a lot in our conversation about how one person can change the world. And we talked about ways that kids, that second graders, and even younger than that, can have an impact on their schools and their communities.
I think you bring up a good point, and really both of you do. One of them is that in a country like America, in the United States, we definitely take our education for granted. We grow up, we wake up, we go to school, we get on a school bus, we come home every single day, but that's not always what every student and every child in the world encounters. And then you also talked about that age doesn't really mean much when it comes to making a difference, does it? Malala was young, and she had this vision, and she grew up watching this show where she had a magic pencil, and she loved that, and every night she went to sleep, she wanted that magic pencil because it could help change the way she's living, and change some of her ideas and beliefs. So the SEL competency of this month is self-management. Self-management, I'll read you the definition, are skills that allow individuals to handle daily stresses out of their control. How do you think this book encompasses self-management? And we can start with you, Ms. Briscoe Brown.
Malala had to practice self-management because she found herself in a situation where she was walking down the street and quite literally being threatened with men with guns who were telling her that she couldn't go to school. But instead of crying or hiding, what she did was empower herself. She took control of her life and of her emotions, and she was able to channel that energy out into the world to make a difference.
And the other theme was perseverance, and I think she did a really good job of hitting upon that. But how did Malala show perseverance through all of this?
She showed perseverance because initially what was just her imagination and thoughts about changing the world, she persevered, she continued to work through it, and then she finally decided, you know what? I don't have to imagine this. This magic pencil that they talk about, I have a real pencil that can make change in this world. And she began to use it to write, and that power of writing, which many times people say the pen is mightier than the sword. In her case, the pencil was mightier than those men with guns in her country, and she used that to help liberate and help a bunch of young girls in her country, and then expanded that throughout the world. So she just didn't stop in Pakistan. She went on to continue to help students in other countries and young ladies in other countries to attend school like she did.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, because one of my favorite lines from the book was, "I wrote alone in my room, but people all over the world were reading my story." What do you think that means?
I think it speaks to the power of one. Malala put the magic in that pencil. Instead of wishing for one to appear in her cupboard, she figured out that she was the magic in the pencil. And that by using the pencil to write and speak and express herself, she was able to change the world.
I agree. And that's a great point and a great takeaway that anybody can make a difference. It doesn't matter how old you are or what struggles you've gone through. Sometimes you got to dig your heels in and make a difference and be the change that you want to see in the world, right? And she did that. So we loved reading this book. It was a great book, a great choice by our SEL liaisons. We have an awesome special guest here, which we just pulled her in last minute. So I give Ms. Briscoe Brown all sorts of credit. And again, we are here at the 2020 Cross District Learning Event, learning all about SEL and across the country. So Mr. Hudson, anything else?
I just want to read one of my favorite lines from the book.
Sure.
One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world.
All right. We'll see you in April. Bye.